Hello, welcome to my podcast, Wandering Thoughts of a Muse, hosted by me, Daydreaming Muse. I am a visual artist and a fashion illustrator based in Arizona, and thank you for being here or for listening. I am enjoying a very chill evening. Still hot here in Arizona. But I guess today is August 1st, supposedly like the first day of fall, or I'm not sure. If anyone knows, let me know. But I will get into the subject for this podcast episode. Um, and this episode is on being the eldest daughter in a Mexican family. And on my website at daydreamingmuse.com, you can check out my blog, and I have like a little bit of an origin story of my upbringing as a creative daughter of an immigrant family, and also my family is from Mexico, and so this episode is basically like branching off of what I couldn't really fit into that blog post, because there was a lot of information, or like there's just more things that I could have like gone into, and so that is why I am making this episode, or why like I thought about starting this podcast, is to just talk about um specific subjects in a little bit more in depth, things that just I can't really fit into the writing. But this leads me to a little bit of a disclaimer, is that I am not a very good speaker. So one, I hope that this podcast can help me be more articulate. If you pick up on a lot of like different mistakes, that's just how I usually speak. Like I'm not a very like good speaker. I'm not a very witty person. I can be at times. I wish I was, but I'm not. Um and eventually like I'll go into that a little, into what kind of led to me just not having good speaking skills. And okay, so I kind of prefer writing over speaking, but that's a whole nother subject for a different episode. And again, we're gonna talk about being the eldest daughter, so I will get into that. And in my notes, I pretty much just wrote like, so I titled it just like little annoying things that happen when you're the eldest daughter in a Mexican family. And, well, you let me know how you feel about this. Um, Number one, I would say the thing that a little annoying when you're the eldest daughter is that you're just automatically everyone's parent. And I believe I mentioned this in my blog post, and that you have to be available to everyone. And in my case, so I feel like for me, I was always like very like accepting of different responsibilities. Like unless if I knew that it was like really like something that was like really hard for me to do. Like as long if I knew that or if I felt that I had the capacity to do it, I would just do it. Like it really wasn't like any problem for me to just like take on certain things. And the downside of that is that I think other people, like specifically the adults, they most likely like started noticing that I was just like willing to just be helpful or just like I liked to do things. And I never questioned it. So that was where unfortunately like it ended up not being very good for me as a little girl because like yeah, I definitely got used a lot and well, eventually I started seeing that some people would take it too far and just completely ignore the fact that I also had needs and that I was just a child. Like I'm down to help you because like I'm I'm just okay with doing it if I can, but like is it like really that hard for you to just reciprocate some of that like service to me or to just be mindful of me like the way I am with you or I try to be. Also apologies if you hear any background noise, like the sprinklers are going off right now. Um I'm recording in my car because it's cheaper and I don't feel like paying for a podcast studio yet. um but anyways, I think I summed up that first point. That yeah, you're supposed to be everyone's parent. In my case, uh, again, like yeah, for me specifically, I pretty much had to become the mom and the dad, for everyone in my family. And it was very stressful, and that also reminds me that um with being the eldest daughter in particular, I think you end up becoming like a little too masculine, or like you're always in like that masculine like building mode. And it's not exactly very good. This is not like, it's not to say that masculine energy is bad or to say that you can't like anything that is masculine, but just like I mean it more in the sense that like you're kind of not honoring that the fact that as a woman in particular, that you're not really listening to how your body naturally is, like being a woman, and how like your emotions work. And this is a whole like subject for a different podcast, so I will be like speaking on that in a future episode. um I feel like I got my words mixed up in there. I am sorry. But this is why it's called Wandering Thoughts of a Muse. But anyway, we'll move on to the second annoying little thing that happens when you're the eldest daughter. You become the family translator. Like, probably even before you know how to spell. And yeah, that happened to me. I want to say that I think the earliest that I remember being the translator or like the interpreter for my family was probably when I was like 3. Oh my gosh, I remember very distinctly. I think my mom was enrolling me into preschool, and she didn't know any English, of course. And I was already like able to speak like pretty well. And oh, I should also mention that before that, my mom did spend a lot of time taking me to the library, trying to like make sure that I was like reading. And also she was always renting out um different like educational videos for me to learn. And this is a little funny bit. The little educational videos that she got from the library, they were supposed to teach me English on how to like read and like spell and write and all. She didn't know that they were filmed in or they were produced in Australia. So when I was learning how to speak English, I was um learning in the Aussie accent. And I think I want to say that I can still do the Aussie accent a bit, because that's just oh, another thing is too that I seem to be around a lot of people who speak or who have this accent. Like I don't know which from what part of Australia they're from, but I hear it so often. Like even one of my creative mentors, she is Australian. And so I think because I hear the accent so often, I think that's why I'm still able to sort of speak in that in like this way. But anyways, back to like regular English. And oh my gosh, you guys. Um yeah, like I don't think my Australian accent is very good, but I know that like I can like every now and then like I will kind of revert to that Aussie accent. Um and I think again it's because I just hear it so often. And so okay, I was saying that I was with my mom and she was trying to enroll me into preschool, and I was like about 3. And yes, I remember distinctly that we were in like the little office, and my mom was trying to tell me, Diana, dile a la señora que quieres venir a la escuela. And I initially was very happy, and I was like, to be honest, I don't know what I said. I think I just said that I wanted to go to school, and then my mom probably was like trying to say that she wanted to enroll me. And then eventually like they figured it out. And I think like again, like I was 3 years old. Like what 3-year-old has a lot of patience? And don't remember what else happened, but I do remember feeling just kind of like, oh, like I want to go home. Like I don't want to be here no more. We're taking too long. And well, we just had to stay there for whatever reason. And again, like I don't remember word for word what we were talking about. And I remember that the teacher that was there, she was all trying to like speak to me, like, honey, can you tell your mom something? And I just remember when she was asking me this that I was just so annoyed, and I was playing with like something like on the desk, and I just like I was probably not giving her a very nice look because I was just so over it. And I just remember like that she was like trying to tell me to tell my mom something, and I think I was just like, dice la señora que tienes que ir a que I don't remember. Like I don't remember word for word. I just know that I was in there, and that like I was excited at the beginning, but then I just got like so done with it. Um, but yeah, so eventually my mom figured out how to like enroll me into school. And I do remember my first day of school, of preschool. Again, very happy to go. I was ready to take on the world and like ready to show off my English skills. Um, and I remember being in class and we were doing this flashcard game, and she was basically put like the teacher, she was pulling out a flashcard with a letter, and then we had to like she would call on somebody to say what letter that was. And I remember always having my hand up. Like I was so excited to be at school. And like just so you know, I'm super into like studying and like just knowledge and all of that. Like that is life for me. um but I remember being in that class, and then she got to the letter R. And remember, I said that I learned English in like in the Aussie accent. So when she pulled out that R, she called on me. Oh my gosh, you guys, and or you all, sorry. I'm trying to make sure I don't use I'm trying to make sure I use you all or y'all. Um so I remember putting like putting my hand up like so fast into the air because I wanted to be like I wanted her to call on me. I was so confident and so ready to say what that letter was on that card. Um and then I said that it's ah, and then she says no. And I was just shattered. My little 3-year-old heart was just like, no. What do you mean it's not R? I know it's R. And she told me that it's R. And then I remember just being like in shock because I couldn't believe that I had gotten it wrong. And like I had a little bit of an existential crisis when that happened. And I remember asking her later, like, when you put when you put the one card up, isn't it supposed to be R? Why did you say that it's R? And then she said, "Oh no, sweetie, that's how they speak in other places. You don't live there. You live here in the United States, and we say R." Okay. And also this teacher too, she was still a very cool teacher. I just remember feeling really, really butthurt about the fact that I got the flashcard wrong. But also it was through this teacher that I learned that my English name is Diana, not Diana. And I remember just being like so confused, and I was just like, so first she told me that I can't say R ah, and now she tells me that my name isn't even Diana, it's Diana. Oh my gosh, what is this? And to be I really love both, to be honest. And mm, I didn't see it as a bad thing. I think I was just very confused. I was just like my whole like 3-year-old um life was just like uh it was just like a really big deal for me as a little 3-year-old. But I think yeah, that it sums up point number two. That being the family translator. To be honest, I do have some not so positive memories of being the translator for my family. In particular, as I got older, unfortunately, my parents were kind of mean to me whenever I couldn't translate specific documents because I did not have the vocabulary for that type of or yeah, I didn't have the vocabulary for those documents, and like I was just a kid. But yeah, that whole thing sums up the second point, and I will move on to number three. Number three is that you're just the emotional dumping ground for everyone in your family. And yep, that happened to me a lot. And I don't think it really started changing until I was like 20, like 26, 27, something like that. And I'm in my late 20s, by the way. Uh, and yeah, sorry, I'm just thinking, I'm thinking back to just like what my life was, before like now being a visual artist and podcaster. But yeah, just absorbing everyone's emotions and getting lost in the middle of everything and being so disconnected from yourself. And that yeah, that's probably why I had that pause, because yeah, I'm sorry if I'm being repetitive, but I think I may have spent some of my teens like kind of being very disassociated, unfortunately, like because I just don't have very many positive memories. I do, but at the same time, I think because of just so much of all of this like absorption of like emotions, just always, and also managing people's emotions, or and then also the constant walking on eggshells. And I do feel like my brain probably just shut down for most of my like for most of my teen years, and like even up to my early 20s. Oh, and like yeah, like when in my early 20s was really hard. uh I think, again, from like taking on so much responsibility, like as the eldest daughter and being so young, I think when I was in my early 20s, my body, my soul, whatever it was, I think I just was like my body, my soul. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble like trying to figure out how to describe this. Was just overwhelmed with a lot of grief. And those years, my in my early 20s, were very difficult for me to keep my emotions under control. Like it was just really bad, and I didn't like it for myself because it was really hard to concentrate on anything. But also, I think back and I do feel like my soul was trying to grieve all this, like just all this grief that I hadn't actually been able to process. And um when I was in my early 20s, I was way worse at speaking. And again, I think it was because I was just so overwhelmed. And oh, and then on top of that, I was also working too. I started working at 16, but like imagine like there's all this mess going on within your family, and then you just get thrown, like you just go into, like, not thrown, but you just go into this workforce and you're just met with more chaos. And yeah, that it totally makes sense why I had such a difficult time just managing my emotions and just like even like allowing myself to be happy. Just those years were not my favorite years, and I'm glad they're over. Uh, but I was not very kind to myself in those years, and I'm just glad that they're gone. And oh, but also, I think I should mention too that both of my parents, they had really bad tempers. And this was extremely stressful for me, like while I was growing up. And uh, that only further um, gives more reason as to why I was having such a difficult time during my early 20s. Um, no structure. Like, no, like, no, there was just no structure for myself. And I don't know how to just how to like really put it into words. It's just like it's kind of like I'm thinking of a plastic bag just floating in the wind. That like when I'm thinking back to my younger days, that's really what it felt like. Like I don't like I'm like even right now, like I'm confused as to like like what really was going on, because I think I was just in survival mode the entire time. And I will definitely speak on that in a different episode. But yeah, like I mentioned that were my parents had and they still kind of do. One of them in particular just had really bad tempers, and that affected me a lot as a kid. It's much easier now as an adult. Um, but it's still constant, like it's still like so much stress. Uh, and then aside from that, I have younger siblings. My brothers inherited my mom's very volatile temper. Both of my brothers just had like a lot of issues with like their emotional reactions, and that was just something that I had to learn how to like maneuver my way around. So there's like my brothers, uh my mom, my dad, just constant fighting. There was just constant fighting all the time in the house. And I don't know if this is like something super accepted in the culture, or like just from the specific part where my parents are from. And also my parents are from Guerrero. I was born in Guerrero. Um and cuz like I say that because my dad, he's someone that he likes when when like drama is going on, where like he like wants you to like go back and forth with him. My mom, on the other hand, she's just so focused on trying to be like the more dominant all the time. Like she has to be right, and she like she my mom's really mean, just so you know. um uh I don't speak to her anymore. For that reason is because she just never stops fighting, and she has this like she's like my dad, like he just wants like the banter and all, but he's never no, like he can be pretty mean. But the way my dad expresses his anger is that like he just likes drama, like theatrical stuff. Like he is like more like he's the type to like just start to like pull his phone out and just like record it on, and like his phone's like on Facebook Live, and he's like this whole like drama is happening. Like that's my dad. Like he thinks like fighting and like arguing, like he sees it more like in an entertainment type of way. My mom, on the other hand, like no, like it's exhausting to be around um someone like my mom. Like she will fight with you, like debate, like not even debate, like it's just like plain arguing. um like she has to prove a point, basically she has to prove that she's more dominant, like in like the argument, and like it doesn't, like you can't reason with her, and it's really 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 difficult. It's way harder like as a young girl, and I will go into that in another episode. But yeah, I don't talk to her no more for that reason. And my life is good. um but yes, number 4 is that you're the emotional dumping ground for everyone, and it is not fun. Uh, and the thing that kind of helped me get out of that, or just like kind of like just accepting everyone's like emotional mess, and like feeling like I have to be the one that has to like try to manage it, try to make them happy, or like just walk on eggshells. How I figured out that was not okay was actually through a relationship. And yeah, like if you get into um like positive relationships, and this could be like romantically or through friendships, um or like even like through colleagues, that's gonna be where you start seeing that like, oh, like the rest of the world is way different. Like what was I, like my life was a lie. um but yeah, I think that's it for that point. For the next one, number 5 is kind of similar to, wait, am I on number 3 or number 4? Okay, well, I don't remember. I think I'm on number 4 now. Well, it's somewhat similar, is that your personal boundaries are constantly tested. And yep, your boundaries are always tested. Like, oh my gosh, you guys, think I don't think I came across the concept of boundaries until I was like I think I was like 27, something like that, 26 or 27. And like again, that's what I was saying, that like it's through other people that you start realizing that life is like the way you were being raised is not exactly like good, or it's not really normal. Or I don't, again, I'm not sure if I'm like describing this right, but that you're seeing, like through relationships, you just see that there's a different way of living. And also, you just also see how much your parents influence you, and also like how like your childhood traumas do come up a lot. Like the issues will surface a lot, especially when you get into relationships. And going back to like boundaries, uh is that your boundaries are constantly tested? Yes, they are. Oh my gosh, like this is where I get very annoyed with my dad. You know how I was saying that my dad, he tends to like he's into the drama and all of that sort of stuff, and he's a Leo. For anyone that is into astrology or like knows some astrology, my dad's a Leo, very drama centered person. He does have his good qualities though, but yeah, he like he likes drama. He loves the camera, and I will speak on that in another episode because I do actually have a lot of like issues, insecurities, whatever it is, with cameras because of my dad. But my dad in particular, he for sure did a lot of things to test my boundaries, and not in a very kind, like not kind at all. It was just very annoying, like oh, like I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of like different like examples, but like it's very frustrating like to be like around my dad at times. He is much friendlier than my mom, thankfully, but like my dad is just, he does, like I wonder if he might have like some sort of issue, or maybe like hang on, sorry, I don't think that was the right word, or like I'm wondering if he has possibly some undiagnosed condition, because just the way he acts, and I'm just like he doesn't have a whole lot of self-awareness, and it's like just so frustrating to be like around him at times. And like you all, like I'm like having all these pauses in between because I'm thinking back to all the times that it was so frustrating to be like near my dad, or I'm trying to like enjoy, like maybe like I'm trying to enjoy like a day like with him, and all of a sudden he just makes it really difficult for me. And oh, like just like why? And like he's like my dad. I will say that he is mostly like just very mature emotionally and just mentally. He's very, very immature. And he was very mean to me while I was growing up. And like I will like talk on that a little bit. Or I will talk on that in a different episode. But yeah, like my boundaries were constantly tested by him, and it was not fun. um with my mom, oh no, like no boundaries whatsoever. My mom was extremely controlling. uh yeah, she was extremely controlling. Sometimes it had its positives, but it was so much to like. So basically, she was controlling and kind of protective, but it was so much like she was very like protective of me when it came to other people, but from her, she could just do whatever she want to me. And my mom does have like, I know for sure there's like something, like something that like some sort of like mental like condition that she's gone. It's very like there's no way to like reach her empathy, or I'm sorry, but I don't, my mom probably does not have a whole lot of empathy. She actually is a very good caregiver and caretaker. Like she did take care of me in good ways, like of all of my siblings. But she was she was very mean. And it was to the point where she's like kind of like enjoying the fact that she has more power over a vulnerable, defenseless child. And again, like this is like a lot of like details that I can go into later in another episode. But yeah, that's the whole part about the fourth point being your personal boundaries always being tested, or you're not allowed to have any. And it's hard. It's not impossible to like heal from it, but it's gonna take some time. And honestly, what does help out a lot is to just limit, if you can, limit how much time you spend with your parents, and be willing to meet other people. Um, and now that I think of it, I think that's a whole nother episode, like podcast episode two, is just how if you were in a very toxic household, and like yeah, like I'm very upfront about it. Like I know what it was, that like what my family dynamic was. It was not a very like it had its positive moments. I definitely made some happy, cherished moments with my siblings, with my younger siblings, but when it got bad, it was extremely bad. And I really don't think anyone like deserves to go through that, basically. But I will move on to the next point. Number 5 or 6, I don't remember, is that your successes are praised, but only if it's useful to the family. Oh yeah, that it still happens all the time, where yeah, you as the child, you only matter when you do something that makes the family look good. And it's it's not fun. Uh And I think when I was much younger, my way of rebelling against this was to start failing all my classes. Probably not the best way to rebel against that, but I did notice that, yeah, my parents were only kinder to me when I did something that made them look good. And like for my with my artistic ability, I have always been interested in create in like the creative arts, and I I think I was pretty young when like I started showing that affinity for drawing, and my parents did see it, but they didn't necessarily support me in the way that they took me they were happy and willing to take me to places that would help me be more knowledgeable about art. Um my dad, for example, he was always trying to make he was always trying to pressure me into like selling my artwork, and it was just like little like kid like just kid drawings. Like there was like no value. Like to me there had value, but I was like, even as a kid, I was just like it's just a coloring page, or like it's just drawings that make me happy. Like why do you care about me selling things already? And that's one of the reasons why I actually was like not into becoming an entrepreneur. Like, or like even like now, I do feel happy that I have started or like established my art business, but at the same time, I still just like, I don't know, like I don't necessarily feel proud that I'm an entrepreneur. Like I don't like, I'm happy that yeah, that I actually am good at the business side of it, but like it's still hard for me to like accept. I think because what I care about the most is just like being an artist, being able to play with all these like colors and like to make cool things out of it. Um But another thing about like how like your successes are praised only if it benefits like the family, um, was when I was in school. So I was initially like a pretty good student, like I getting straight A's and all of that. Um, and again, like I had like there was like a like some teachers too, like when I was much younger, that were like telling my mom to like put to let me like skip a grade, but and it was a good thing that like she ended up not like giving the go, because I was very small, and I think had had we gone through with that, I think, and then also on top of like everything that I was going through like at home, that would have like just sent me into like more of an emotional mess that I don't know like if I would be like my playful self as I am now, because like just like what I already went through was already like was difficult to finally let go of. But my mom in particular, yeah, she did care a lot about my education and all. Um, and I'm thankful that she did care about it, care enough to like put me in like different programs and to just constantly like bring all these different books to me and take me to the library. But again, like how I was saying that my mom was very controlling, she could be very mean, especially when it came to my studies, just and like putting like way too much pressure on me to the point where I was just crying all the time. Like one time I asked her to help me. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of a little video of this. Actually, I don't it's not funny in my opinion. Like it's a meme now, but it like I remember seeing the video and I didn't like I did get like some what is it called? Some flashbacks to when my mom used to yell at me really hard for not knowing the answer to specific like math questions, and I would be asking her to help me. And oh my gosh, like I remember just sitting there like asking her if she could help me, and she's trying to tell me how to do math with these beans. And instead, and like, oh, like she was mean. Uh, she would just be yelling at me like "cuenta bien" or "count right," and like "mira es uno, dos," like and like just she was just so ridiculously mean. And oh, like I was just crying all the time. And then at some point, I was like, wait a minute, you didn't even go to school. And I'm sorry, but like it's true. Like both of my parents, my dad did get some education like up until he was a teenager, but he dropped out because he didn't want to he was not into academics. And that's oh, and actually this is where I think like I think he may have some some condition that like related to learning. Um like I see it in the way he acts and also just the way he processes information. And I'm just like maybe like that might be why he's just always been like so not necessarily against, but like he just never wanted to try harder in academics because I think like he does have like uh sorry, I lost my train of thought, but I think when it comes to like the traditional way of learning, I don't think my dad is good at that, or he was good at that. And also, this was like he was taking these classes like back in Mexico when it was like in like during the 70s, I believe. And so it makes sense on like why he chose to just leave it completely. Um and also it makes sense why if I didn't know how to translate certain things, he would just start insulting me and like calling me names for not knowing how to not knowing how to translate bills and all that. So it makes sense why he would criticize me pretty hard on that. But with my mom also didn't she was not allowed to go to school for a long like for majority of her life, like until she was like about 13. That was when she was allowed to go to school by like my grandpa, like he was also very controlling of her, and he just would never let like he would never let let her or her sisters like be anywhere near like anything related to education. And the reason how she became aware of like how beneficial education was until like she was like working for for other people who were more educated, and then through observation that, and also like through them willing to help her, that was how she ended up like eventually getting an education. But in that moment when she was trying, when I asked her for help, or I was trying to get her to help me um with like my homework, at some point I realized that I can't rely on her or my dad, because they didn't pursue like any, like they weren't in school the same way I was. And then also I was just realizing too that like I'm kind of like expecting way too much out of them, and it makes sense why like why this is just chaos for me and like for them too. But um anyways, yeah, that was the fifth point about how your successes are praised, but only if they're useful to the family. And that is so true. Uh, Memories. And then the next point is that you were guilt tripped into being the example. Yes, you always like, you have to be all of this. You have to be super good at school because your brother needs needs a role model. You need to be like setting the example for all your cousins too. And remember how like in the beginning I said that I was usually up for about anything, and like as long as I felt that I was safe and I had the capacity to do something, I was up for the challenge and I would not complain. And yeah, initially I was like, yeah, it meant like I was like, oh wow, like that's cool that I get to be like that I'm a role model for my younger siblings. And like I think part of me accepted the role because um it was like a like in partly because I was like I cared a lot about my siblings, and I was also protective of them. So in that sense, I think I was like I saw the role the role of being like an example was good. But as I got older, I was just like this is not what I was expecting, and it's very unfair that you were like expecting all of this perfection out of me. Like I'm never allowed to make any mistakes, and even if I make one little mistake, everyone makes a huge big deal about it. And also I get like disciplined hard for any like little mistake that I make. And that was where it was extremely hard on me. And this is oh my gosh, like I'm trying to think back to those days, and it's not very pleasant. uh like it's kind of confusing to, or like, no, like I'll just say confusing, that I lived through that, just because like I think again like I was in survival mode, or like on autopilot, and not truly like taking in like or like living in the moment basically. Like I'm not really present. I know that I went through things, but like it's like it was like I was just there I was there as like a background character, like if that makes sense. Um and just well on the bright side is that I think I've healed a lot from that, but like my brain like it's kind of like my brain wants to just like forget all of that and like no, we don't need to think about that. But being guilt tripped into being the example happens or it happened a lot, and I think my way of like kind of breaking free from this was actually not the best. Again, I started to just do really bad in school. Like I graduated high school, I believe, with a like 1.3 something like that, or no, because I don't think you're allowed to graduate like that. I think I graduated like at the minimum like passing level, but when I got to college, my GPA, it went down to like 0.03, something like that, because it was just so much stress, like all of the like pursuing all this like educational things, and then eventually like I'll make another episode on like my college experience, and it sucked. Um and uh it was just not fun being the example, but I broke out of that a long time ago. And for anyone to guilt trip me into being the example, it's probably not gonna work now. Now, especially just like from like how far I've like done in my like personal healing. And another thing that I would say gets kind of like tossed into this, just feeling that you have to be like you have to be like involved in all of this like political like this political talk all the time, especially if you're like if you're like first generation or you come from a family of immigrants. I feel like that just gets thrown onto you and you're expected to know like absolutely everything about what's going on like with like politics regarding to like immigration and everything. And I keep up to some level, but realistically speaking, like this is like not only for myself but for other people. Like we don't like we're not like I would imagine that it's not you're not able to like keep up to date with every single like detail on like what's going on in politics related to immigration. And like unfortunately I do feel like people just people like not like with all like with everything that's going on with immigration, I think some people kind of expect too much out of you if you happen to be um honestly, I think if you happen to be of like Hispanic like heritage, or you're of an immigrant family, um or like no like actually I'll just keep it at that. And actually like I'm thinking back to this one time when I was in 7th grade, And like, to be honest, I'm not sure what was going on like politically. Another thing too that I should mention was that my mom did not allow me and my brother to watch a whole lot of television. So we really were not aware of what was like we weren't aware of what was going on um when it came to like the political scene. And the only way I really like came across it was if my parents like spoke openly on it, or like if it was like we were visiting someone else's house and then they started speaking on it. Um but yeah, like, and thankfully, like, I am glad that my mom did like have that rule that we weren't allowed to like be watching television. And like it was like to the point where like she got rid of the TV, like like she just got rid of the television like altogether. My dad, on the other hand, is obsessed with TV. But with my mom, and then also like even nowadays, I don't watch TV. Like it's really rare that I do. I'll be on YouTube a lot, but even then, like I'm mostly just listening to other podcasts, watching workout videos, listening to music, uh, other interesting like knowledge related things. But again, like I feel like I just like that being like that like being like always like on top of everything related to politics. I felt like that was like forced onto me. And like I was just a kid. Like I don't know what's going on. Like I'm trying to figure out what's going on like within my house. I don't know like how to solve this whole issue. Like I was just a kid. And again, like going back to like what I was saying, that I was 13 or I was in seventh grade, and yes, like I probably was like 13 around like when this happened. But I think something happened in the political like scene. Again, I don't know what it was exactly because I was not paying, like I wasn't like watching the news like 24/7. But this specific teacher, it was like a social studies teacher. I didn't like this teacher because like I just always felt like her vibe was just weird with me. And then also she was one of those teachers that like sometimes like she would be like too much or like too friendly. Like I never liked that. I always preferred like with my teachers, like I always preferred to like address them by like Mr., Miss, Mrs. Like I never felt comfortable using like first names, or like if I felt like a teacher was being like a little too close, like like trying to be like my friend, I never really liked that. And that was how this teacher was. And also like that was just me. But this social studies teacher, she decided to make this activity where she was going around the classroom and she was like asking us specific questions. Um, and we were supposed to like come up with like some sort of like solution to it, or like I don't remember exactly what the whole point of it was, but it was like her way of like trying to keep up to date, like, or like it was her way of trying to get us to stay up to date with what's going on in the world like at that present time. And then so she's going around the classroom like asking specific questions. She gets to me, and you all, I'm saying that the vibe with this teacher, like I always felt like she was just weird with me. I just like how I say that she was weird is just that she stared at me a lot, and like I never really felt any warmth from her looking at me, and I was just confused because I was just like, I'm 13, my hair is all messy, I have like little glasses. Like, why is this lady staring at me so hard? And like, she's like in her like 30s or something. But anyway, she asked me a question, and I think she asked me about why do people keep coming over to the US, and like, why don't they stay in their own country? Something like that. I believe she asked something along those lines. I'm 13. What am I gonna know about a crisis like that? What, like, how would I know what the solution is to a difficult situation like that? And so I just answered something. I don't remember what it was that I said, and I think I might have said something about like how it's I think that the countries need to work together or something like that. Like I was 13. Again, 13-year-old with little glasses, messy hair, and like not a very good sense of fashion. Like, what am I gonna know about like solving solving like what am I gonna know about how to solve the complexities of immigration? And so the way she reacted like I said something like so horrible. Like, she acted as if I committed a like she reacted to my answer as if I committed a crime or something, and then I got all confused. And like, this is why I'm saying like I didn't like this teacher because like I was just like nothing, like it just seems like she's out to like prove something about me. Like, I don't know what it is. And a classmate tried to like back me up, and she is such a sweet person too. Like, all I don't like know like keep in touch with this person like at all. Like, it's been years since we went to school together, but I do remember that this person was a very like chill person, and she's tried to be friendly with everyone. And so this girl, again, she's about like the same age as me, like 13. Like, everyone in that classroom was like 13, 14, maybe 15 or 12. Um, but again, we're all just kids. And so my classmate, she tried to help me out. But again, the way this teacher reacted, she acted like I just like committed a crime or something. And I just remember feeling so embarrassed. I felt very humiliated. Um, and I just, with more reason, I didn't like that teacher. And um, now looking back, I'm wondering if maybe she asked me that question specifically because like she knew that I was Mexican. And if I recall, I don't think was I don't think I openly spoke, like, especially with her. I don't think I spoke openly on my family's situation, or like, how would this lady like why, like, I don't know, like, to me like now that I look back at it, it kind of felt like she purposely like asked me that question. Like, there probably was like some bias that was behind that action. And just, I guess, like, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of when it comes to like the sixth point on like being guilt tripped into being the example, or like knowing like it's like you're expected to be a whole institution on all these different subjects related to how the community like the Mexican community works, like how like you're expected to know like the sociology, the psychology, and like just all these things that like somehow you're guilt tripped, or like you're expected to know all of these things. And um it's very stressful, and I think it was probably the reason why it was probably why like there was a little bit of like an identity crisis like going on, or just like kind of like not knowing like I like that everyone is expecting me to be a certain way. Why can't I just be myself? Like why do I have to like do all these different, or why do people think that I have to do all of these different things, like either because I happen to be Mexican, or because um uh or like because like I am in like I'm part of an immigrant family, or that like part of my family is of immigrants, and then the rest are US citizens. Oh, and then also like how come this is like I don't know if this was just me, but that like it seems like me as the eldest daughter, I had to like be like this example and like this super ultra human um to save the whole community. But my brother who he's American, like he was born here in the States, but he's not expected to know anything. Like he's not expected to save the community, so to speak. And like even like with my sister and like my other cousins who are younger than me, like it's like they're like that expectation like now. So it's just me who has to save everyone. But I think I went like I dove deeper into, or I went far enough into that point. But the next point is that everyone assumes you're okay because you always seem so strong. Like, I think in the beginning, I mentioned how like for the daughters in particular that you can like kind of have trouble balancing out that masculine and feminine energy. And this is like why, because like you were just supposed to be the strong one for everyone. You're supposed to be the glue that keeps the family together, the rock for everyone. And no one ever asks you, are you okay? Do you need help? And if I asked for help, like it was like I was like asking like for them to like give me the moon or something. Or like they're always allowed to take from me, to expect all these crazy things from me, but I can't accept something simple as just, can you help me with like, can you just help me do the dishes so I can focus on doing my homework? Can we work together or something like that? Um, yeah, you're essentially like you become like this super soldier almost. And in my case, it has like it's probably the reason why I had such a difficult time managing my emotions when I was in my early 20s, because again, I had spent so much of my early life being in the superhuman mode, just like you like it's like you're a super soldier. And when I got older, like it was like my body was trying to tell me that like, hey, you can keep going like this, but you're gonna get disconnected from like your feelings and your your own humanity even. Like this is where I say that it's not like being in that super soldier type of mode. It's not good because you just like I feel like it shuts down your empathy, or that's like the risk that comes with it, because you're never allowed to just grieve whatever you've been through. You're always the one trying to hold space for other people. And so that this is where like I say that that's kind of where you risk losing your empathy, is because you're so you are used to holding that space for everyone, and no one ever wants to like hold space for you. You can become a little like too self-centered on yourself. And like I mean, it's all like, of course, because like you're not allowed to fully grieve. And like this is where like I say it's like that always being strong, it's not something to be like until it's not like a badge of honor. And I do want to say that I feel like the older generations, like I'm not sure if this is like like a whole Gen X thing, like regardless of like um of like cultural background, but like with my parents in particular, my mom, she always goes off about like how hard it was for her. And I think you've all seen like the memes on like how like, oh, like when cuando yo era niño yo caminaba like todas estas montañas. Like when I was little, I had to walk all these mountains. Like my mom is kind of like, she doesn't really like accept that what she went through as a young girl in Mexico, that that was not like good for her. Like it's like, yes, it's good that she survived it, but I don't think she understands that that's not exactly something to be proud of. You were a little girl who was forced to work, and you were forced to be like an adult already when you needed somebody to be comforting you, to be caring for you. And so her now as an adult, like she's just this really hardened person. And this is like, and I think I did mention it a bit already, that she's always focused on dominating over others. And it's very, very difficult to just reach like to her humanity, basically. And at this point, like, yeah, like I would say that my mom doesn't really have a whole lot of empathy for anybody. I think she feel like, yeah, she can feel sympathy, but like actual empathy to understand like how you hurt, like to understand like other people's pain. I don't think she's able to do that. I think the most she can do is just sympathy and like just pity someone. But yeah, the everyone assumes you're okay because you always seem strong. And, like unfortunately, like your you're just not like you're never allowed to just accept that you have emotions. You feel sad. You want to be comforted. And like if you're like that for a majority of your life, it's really, really hard to come out of that. But I'll move on to the next one, which is that your creativity was seen as cute but not practical. And I think I kind of already went into that um, when I was talking about how any any sort of what was it? I think I already went on this, like when it comes to, oh yeah, that your successes are praised, or your success, sorry, that your successes are praised, but only if they're useful to the family. Like, yeah, like that's what this next point is basically like, that your creativity is seen as cute but not practical. So I want to say that this point is more so for anybody that is like either in a Mexican family or like like in an immigrant family where mm, you're interested in pursuing a career in the creative arts, but everyone kind of doesn't see that it's an actual career. Like with my art business, I think um like see I had the reverse. That my dad was always like pressuring me to make money off of like my creative work, but I was just a kid. Like I wasn't thinking about like making money at the time. um but it is difficult because it's, especially if you're the only one, or like you're the first one to like establish a career for yourself, or like you're the first one to graduate college or high school, college, then get a career. I think it is very hard to get your family to understand that there's a lot of responsibilities that come with pursuing a specific career. And that they tend to like undermine you a lot, and just they don't like they kind of like they give you praise, but at the same time like they're kind of like not taking you seriously, and it can be like a little disappointing for you or like for your soul. Like you're like, I like, so do you believe in me or not? um and it can be very disheartening to like push through and like pursue a career in the creative arts. Let's see. I feel like I made this way too long, but I'm trying to like get through all of this. And so the last point is that you never get to just be, you're always doing. And I think this goes back, like this plays again into the whole that everyone assumes you're okay because you always seem so strong, is that you're it's like you're expected to be this like superhuman person, like a super soldier. Like you just know how to, you know how to do everything. You don't need your parents, or like in like in my case, you might get like a parent, like my dad was all like, "Oh, well, I never said anything to you because I thought you just knew how to do everything." Or my mom, like, "Oh, I was more mean to you because I knew you were stronger." Okay. Um, and yeah, that part is it's tough that like like you just want to just relax at times, or you just want like it's hard to just allow yourself to be playful or carefree too. Uh and I think I'll go into this a little bit more like in a different episode on like ways to heal from like eldest daughter syndrome. But I did have a bonus point that I wrote, and I don't know if like other people went through this, but um I wrote that you're supposed to or you're expected to drop everything for a family errand. Uh, and this is in my case, I went through this a lot and I still kind of go through this with my dad where anytime like he needs to go to the store, he always needs me or my brother to go with him. And like it's for like the simplest things too. And basically like he's always expecting me to just drop everything and go to like the store or like go accompany him on something, and maybe I'll be doing homework or like I'm just doing something like trying to relax. I'm just supposed to drop everything and just do whatever he wants. Like I don't even like I don't know what my own like that kind of goes back into like the whole boundaries thing, is that like your boundaries like don't exist, but you always have to go by what everyone else in the family is doing. And this was so frustrating for me. Because I do remember there were times where my dad would just like drag me and my brother to go to this specific person's house. I don't know why we had to go to that person's house, but me and my brother would just be like sitting on the couch, like all awkward and just like, hola, ¿quieren, quieren agua? ¿Quieren jugo? No, no, gracias. Or, and like, oh my gosh, like how I was saying that my dad kind of is a like he can be very annoying. Uh, is that so? What was I saying? Is that he was just like we were always just supposed to be like going with him everywhere for things that he really didn't need us to go with him. And on top of that, like he would always leave us behind. Like it was always him walking walking ahead of us, and me and my brother, like I don't know how he didn't get kidnapped, cuz he would always be like way ahead of us. And me and my brother, like we were just kids at the time too. We're all like trying to keep up with him, and like he's not paying attention at all to like what's going on with us. Like and I would be like so upset about this. Um but also this is one of the reasons too why as I got older it was very difficult for me to just have any sort of structure in my life. And I do think it was because I never really got the chance to just think of like, oh, how like I never like really got the chance to just have a set routine. Like I'm always going by what my parents are like what my parents felt like doing at the time. And like it was frustrating. That's all I can say. Um Now that I'm older, it's much easier to just live on my own routine, but I won't lie to you, it was very challenging during my early 20s. And I think I think like thankfully I like with establishing my art business, I think that has forced me to start to like actually stick to a routine, and I'm very thankful for that part. Um but I feel like this is like another talking point that I might have to do in a different episode that is gonna be more on like how to heal from all this sort of mess. um or just how to unlearn some things from being the eldest daughter and letting yourself live just as yourself and enjoy your life. And I feel like this episode has gone far long enough. Oh my gosh, it is an hour. An hour, almost 2 hours. So there you go. There you have wandering thoughts of a muse, and this is exactly why I decided to do a podcast. For one, it's to also share more of myself, like as an artist, with you all, and but also it's because for well because being the eldest daughter, I had to keep my mouth shut for everyone else, never allowed to vent or anything like that. And this is why I just have so much to say, and I don't want to overwhelm other people because I did do that um like unintentionally trauma dump on people because I was young and I didn't know. But also I do realize that that is a bit of a weak point for me, is that I have not been allowed to like properly like just speak on what's on my heart, to just let my voice be free and just yap. um And hopefully with this podcast, maybe my speaking ability will get better. And I mean like that is usually what would happen. Um how was I going with this? Oh, well, that I think this is all I have for being the eldest daughter in a Mexican family. In an immigrant family, being first gen. Do share your thoughts with me in the comments, and feel free to check out my blog. I'm having a lot of fun with writing, and check out my creative work, my artwork. It's all on my website at daydreamingmuse.com. Uh, and also feel free to let me know of any other subjects you want me to speak on, or if you are okay with my chaotic thoughts just wandering all over the place. Uh, and we will just let my thoughts go all loose and all. And I think I am probably a little tired from talking. Um, but thank you so much for listening, especially if you listened to this whole almost 2-hour episode. I'm sorry if it was that long. I was not expecting for this episode to be that long. I'll try to make it shorter next time, but that's all I have for this episode. Thank you so much for listening to Wandering Thoughts of a Muse. I am Daydreaming Muse, a visual artist and fashion illustrator. You can check out all my information. Like, comment, subscribe for more chaotic wandering thoughts. Um, and I wish you all a beautiful evening and that you stay cool if you're living in a hot environment like me. Or just, I hope you all have a lovely day or night. And thank you for listening again. And I will see you in, or yeah, I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much. Nos vemos.